Another stepdad here. There's been a few things that have been grinding my gears as of lately. One of them is very simple. The individuals that use the electric shopping carts at the stores and takes them outside and leaves them sit out there, out in the parking lot. That is inconsiderate to the people that need them when they go into the store. One, I came across but the battery was completely dead. And they left it there. I don't know if they left it on or whatnot. So, me being me, I drug it inside to return it to its place for charging. The second time, they actually shut it off and just left it sit there. And I took it back inside. It's You shouldn't be doing that. If you can walk to the door and get in the cart, you should be able to walk from where the cart you originally got the cart to your car without needing it. And if you have the issue where you cannot carry the groceries at the same time, you can at least take the cart, put to your car, put the groceries in your car, then return it back to where you came from, then walk to the car. I don't know why people would just do that, just leave them out there. The next thing that has been grinding my gears is how, I'm going to say it flat out, the Department of Health and Human Services seems to have programs that they work with or as part of them that seem to fail at doing what they're supposed to do. I know I talked about how it fails when it comes to the people that help take care of those who has mental deficiencies, like what my wife used to work with. Then they have issues where these youth programs for those that are troubled youth, or even those in the adoption or foster care system. I mean, I've heard some pretty nasty stories about foster care individuals that would torm would pretty much will torment, abuse the child when no one's looking, and they wouldn't have the individuals, these children are not believed, and this abuse keeps going. My wife has been through it. She ended up with a eating disorder because of foster parents at one point in time. Another individual, the kids would be abusive towards the child. Um, the child would hardly see any doctors for injuries. Was and treated like dirt, and this caused the child to not to want to be part of that family and run off. And the thing is I believe a way to combat this is an extensive background check, and for quite a few years after either adoption or taking a child in for a while, random inspections. That way, in the event, say, the child has been struck or anything and there's a bruise, and if the inspector shows up and the child has this, there can be an investigation launched then and there. And I also believe that investigators should also have access to the medical records of these individuals, and up until a certain point that these individuals have proven they are able to take care of the child and not be an abusive parents, or even predatory parent people. I mean, I'm not saying they will all get caught, but most of these individuals will be kept from causing these issues, causing these children physical, emotional damage that could end up causing them to want to commit self-deletion or turn some form of weapon on these parents and end up going to spend life in prison after that. Most of and this is where I get divided. Most of these violent acts that happen in this country are have moral issues and also mental issues behind them. If we can combat these issues, the mental abuse or moral wrongdoing before it gets to those points where they act out in these manners, it will be helpful. But if a federal state agency is not going to take the steps to help that, these agencies need to be dismissed, and then a new agency that will do this be put into place. Because if the agencies are not going to work to make sure these children are not taken care, if they're not going to work to take care of these children to make sure they are going to be treated right and that's it, and all that, they should not exist. And I don't care if it's state, federal. I mean, I'm in a Republican state, well, Republican red state, but it doesn't matter who's in charge if it's an issue that needs to be fixed. And I'll put it this way as well. If you got a question about whether I think there should be armed officers in the schools, I say yes. Either that or armed teachers, because you're gonna always have bad actors, and no matter what you do, if things are gonna like that, like they need to be protected. Children need to be protected, and I don't agree with 8-year-old anything from middle. The only people that should be allowed to actually even go to a drag show, in my opinion, would be if their parents take them, or say high schoolers. Okay, but when it comes to these the LGBTQ, the schools teachers should not be pushing it into classrooms, but you can have like a mostly student-led organization for these people. That way, the students have somewhere to go and talk to if they have questions, and it doesn't have, and the teachers don't have to worry about getting fired because they want to, because they, well, as it is, teachers shouldn't be teaching it if they in the middle school, elementary, if the students have, I know, like in the higher middle school grades, that there may some people may ask questions. Well, maybe get to that point, and that's where these student-led organizations come in. You can say, hey, this group is having a meeting. If you have questions, you can come visit them. But teachers teaching it is wrong, um, because they're meant to teach what their actual. But okay, if you're assigned to teach math, you teach math. History, history. Science, science. Because I've never heard anything about biology until higher grades. But I want to say it just let students make an organization for this. Teachers can be part of it. I mean, supervise and be more of a supervisor role. But if you let students lead it, that means they can have these little meetings and this, can be protected by the school. Okay, because it's their right to do this, but it should not be directly taught to all students. If it should be kind of a peer-to-peer counseling, and especially in the middle school, because you know how young kids are. They like to torment each other sometimes, and that is also something that needs to be fixed. Because there is bullying I've heard in the school here around here, and certain students get away with it because of their family their family's title or notoriety of in the school. But we gotta pick and choose our battles, and I'm trying to fight it the best I can. I mean, I can get some help from some very notable people in my community, but that's the stuff that's been bugging me, and I hope you have a good day.